Hello everyone, thank you for joining me. I'm Kerry. Today I'll be showing you how to crochet a boy fishing silhouette. When crocheted using 8-ply yarn and a 3mm hook, this large one, the size is 7 centimeters wide by 12 centimeters or 3 inches wide by 4 3/4 inches. The medium boy, crocheted using 4-ply crochet cotton and a 1.5mm hook, is 6.5 centimeters wide by 11 centimeters or 2 3/4 inches wide by 4.5 inches. The small boy, crocheted using 2-ply crochet cotton and a 1mm hook, is 6 centimeters wide by 9 centimeters or 2 1/4 inches wide by 3.5 inches. I'll be using Catona cotton, so the size will be slightly smaller than this large one. I'll tell you the size at the end of the video. I'll use white cotton so it's easier for you to see. For the small boy, I've added a moon. That's my new moon applique pattern. I'll be using Catona cotton. I've got 106 Snow White. I've got scissors, a darning needle to weave in the ends and to stitch the fishing rod on, and a 2.5mm crochet hook. Now we're going to start on the head and work down and then work down the body and the legs, and we'll work the hat parts and the facial features and the arm when we're working the neatening row. Now I've got my 106, the Snow White, and we start with the magic loop. There's lots of ways to make a magic loop, so make it how you feel most comfortable. I put my hook on the yarn, bring the short end over the hook and then the long end over the short end to make a circle, yarn around the hook and bring my hook with this yarn at the end through the circle. For row 1 we work 1 chain and work 1 single crochet into the circle. A single crochet is a double crochet using UK terms. For a single crochet, put your hook through the circle, bring through a loop, then yarn around the hook and take the hook with this yarn at the end through the loops, and then pull your circle tight. So take hold of the tail and just ease it in. For row 2 we start with 1 chain and turn and work 3 single crochet into our stitch. For row 3 we start with 1 chain and turn. We work 2 single crochet into our first stitch, 1 single crochet into the next stitch and 2 single crochet into the last stitch. For row 4 we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet into each of the 5 stitches. For row 5 we turn our work and we slip stitch into the first stitch. So put your hook into the first stitch, bring through a loop and take it straight through the loop on the hook. And then work 1 single crochet into each of the last 4 stitches. And that's the head part done. We're starting on the neck now. For row 6 we start with 2 chain and turn. We're going to work 2 half double crochet into our first stitch. A half double crochet is a half treble using UK terms. For a half double crochet, put the yarn around the hook, hook into the stitch and bring up a loop, yarn around the hook, take the hook with the yarn at the end through the 3 loops. We need 1 more half double crochet into that stitch. For row 7 we start with 1 chain and turn. We work 2 single crochet into each stitch. We'll have 4 stitches, so 2 single crochet into each of our 2 stitches. For row 8 we start with 1 chain and turn. We work 2 single crochet into our first stitch and 1 single crochet into each of the 3 remaining stitches. For row 9 we start with 2 chain and turn. We work 1 half double crochet into the first stitch and 1 single crochet into each of the 4 remaining stitches. For row 10 we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet into each of the 5 stitches. For row 11 we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet into each stitch. For row 12 we start with 1 chain and turn. We're going to work a joined single crochet over the first 2 stitches. So put your hook into the first stitch and bring up a loop, and hook into the next stitch and bring up a loop. We've got 3 loops on the hook. Put the yarn around the hook and take the hook with this yarn at the end through all the loops, and then work 1 single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. Into our last stitch we're going to work 1 single crochet, 1 half double crochet and 1 double crochet. So 1 single crochet, 1 half double crochet and then 1 double crochet. A double crochet is a treble using UK terms. For a double crochet, put the yarn around the hook, hook into the stitch and bring up a loop, yarn around the hook. Take the hook with the yarn at the end through 2 loops, yarn around the hook, hook with the yarn at the end through 2 loops. For row 13 we start with 3 chain and turn. We work 1 double crochet, 1 half double crochet and 1 single crochet into the first stitch. We're bending for the legs, so 1 double crochet, 1 half double crochet and 1 single crochet into that first stitch, and then work 1 single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches, and a joined single crochet over the last 2 stitches. For row 14 we start with 1 chain and turn. We work a join single crochet over the first 2 stitches, 1 single crochet into each of the next 4 stitches, and into the last stitch we work 1 single crochet, 1 half double crochet and 1 double crochet, and then we work 2 chain. For row 15 we work 1 single crochet in the second chain from the hook, and then spin the work around and work a join single crochet over the first 2 stitches. We're starting down the leg now. For row 16 we work 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet in each of the 2 stitches. For row 17 we work 2 chain and turn. We work 1 half double crochet into the first stitch and 1 single crochet into the last stitch. For row 18 we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet into each of the 2 stitches. For row 19 we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet into each stitch. For row 20 we start with 1 chain and turn. We work 2 single crochet into the first stitch and then work 4 chain. Work a slip stitch in the second chain from the hook. One single crochet into the next chain and 1 half double crochet into the last chain, and then slip stitch in the last stitch of row 19, and that's the foot, and that's the boy done. Now for the neatening row we're going to work 1 slip stitch in each stitch up to the second stitch after the join of the leg, so about here. For a slip stitch we just put our hook in, bring through a loop and take it straight through the loop on the hook, and we try not to pull too tight so that our work stays flat. And it can be easier for neatening rows to use a size or 2 finer hook. It's just a bit easier to get into the stitches. Now I'm up to where we start the arm. For the arm we start with 6 chain. miss 2 chain, and we're going to work a joined half double crochet over the next 2 chain. So put the yarn around the hook, hook into the 3rd chain from the hook and bring up a loop, yarn around the hook, hook into the next chain and bring up a loop, and then yarn around the hook and take the hook with the yarn at the end through all the loops. Then work 1 chain and work 1 single crochet in each of the 2 remaining chain. And then work a slip stitch in each stitch up to the first stitch on the face. Slip stitch into that first stitch along the face, and we're going to work the face markings now. Just work 2 chain quite tightly and work 1 half double crochet into that same stitch. And then slip stitch into the next stitch and work 2 chain quite tightly, that's for the nose, and slip stitch into the same stitch, and then work 1 single crochet into the next stitch and 2 single crochet into the last stitch along the top. This is the forward part here. And then 1 single crochet in the first stitch around the corner. Now we're going to work the brim of the hat. We work 3 chain and slip stitch in the 2nd chain from the hook, and 1 single crochet into the next chain, and then work a single crochet in the same stitch on the hat. Now work 1 single crochet in each stitch up to the point of the hat. And then probably a couple of single crochet around that side. Then work 1 single crochet in each stitch down to the 2nd last stitch. Of the hat, and work 3 chain, slip stitch in the 2nd chain from the hook, work 1 single crochet into the next chain and a single crochet into the same stitch, and then work 1 slip stitch in each stitch down the boy's back to his heel. We're not going to work along the bottom of the foot. slip stitch into the end of the foot and fasten off. And that's the boy done. Now for the fishing rod part, I've still got my white of course, and we start with 13 chain. We miss the first chain and work one single crochet in each of the next 2 chain, and then slip stitch in each remaining chain. And then I fasten off with a long tail. I use it to stitch the rod to the boy's hand. So that's the fishing rod part. Now for the line, I join it in the back of the chain, the second from the end. So this one here. Now you could work as much chain as you'd like for your line. I'll just work 30 chain today. Now that's my 30 chain. I'm going to work a sinker on the end, so I work one single crochet in the second chain from the hook. If I was going to add a fish to the end of my line, I wouldn't add the sinker, and then I fasten off. Now that's my pieces worked. I'll weave in the ends except for this long one, and I'll be back and we'll put it together. Now there's the pieces. I've got the boy and the rod. All I have to do to make it up is attach the rod to the hand. So I'll do that and I'll be back to show you the finished boy with the fishing rod. There's the finished boy. I've sat him on a moon. The size is 8 centimetres wide by 13.5 centimetres, or 3 inches wide by 5.25 inches. If you've liked my video, please like, subscribe and share. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest and Patreon. The details are in the description below, along with the details of my website where I have my patterns and the details of my Facebook group. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.